Now, almost 29,500 South Africans living abroad cast their votes today, beginning in Auckland, New Zealand, ending in Los Angeles, United States. So following the sun, as the IEC has said, voting stations will be open at all the South African missions, including the embassy in Washington, to additional consulate generals in New York, Chicago and Los Angeles. Well, it has been a slow start to voting in New York. About 80 people turned up to cast their ballots. Some voters have raised concern about their ballots being placed into two envelopes, one blank and the second with their names, ID number and voting district included on it. But observers at the station have indicated that that's to prevent a fraudulent balloting and that the votes themselves will remain secret.
There has been steady turnout since 7 o'clock this morning when polls opened. South Africans from all over the U.S. are coming. We've even had South Africans fly in from the Cayman Islands. So talk about doing your country duty. There have been some concerns. Some have expressed concern regarding the second envelope, envelope B. And on envelope B, you have to write your name, your ID number and your voting district. And they're concerned that their vote is not a secret. But this is the process that the IEC has. Envelope A with their ballot has no identifying information, and we're quite comfortable that their vote will remain a secret. This is just about trying to ensure that there's no type of chicanery or shenanigans, but South Africans need to be assured that their vote is secret. So we're pleased with the turnout so far.
So far it's going okay. Like, we've had some issues with just the protocol and the flow of things, but I think we've managed to sort of work it out.
And your sense?
Yeah, I think in the beginning it was good that we had a few patient people in the beginning, so we were able to mull it out before the flow started picking up.
There is some concern on the second envelope that people have to put their name and their ID number and their voting district. What's your sense of the process, the two envelopes, and the fact that people actually have to identify themselves?
So the whole process of that is to make sure that the people that have registered and have the VEC 10 form are the people that actually voted, so that there aren't any extra votes that go into the ballot box. And from my understanding is that second envelope just takes away those extra envelopes. So it goes through, like, back to South Africa. One person checks that front of the envelope with the list, and then they take it out, put it into another box, and it moves on to other people that then actually count the votes and do the whole process.
So the vote is essentially a secret?
Yeah, the initial envelope, envelope A, has no identifying information on it, and that's the vote that actually holds the ballot.
Right, so this is the information coming to us from the United States. We'll speak to our correspondent there a little later, Sharon Bryce Peace. And we now have on the line Kate Fisher, our correspondent in Washington. Kate, I'm surprised at the low numbers reported. What's the situation right now?
That's right. I've just come from the embassy in Washington, D.C., where there were 360 South Africans registered to vote. The Charge d'Affaires there did explain to me, though, that they are holding voting in 4 separate locations across the United States, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, New York, and here in Washington. And they are expecting many, many more voters in New York, where there is a much larger concentration of South Africans living. You join me here at the Freedom Day picnic. It's just about an hour or so's drive outside of DC. We're at a park in the state of Maryland. You'll see lots of people beginning to arrive here. This is a annual tradition for South Africans living in the United States. We have barbecues. I wish you could smell it. It smells great here. Several barbecues starting. There's a bouncy castle that's about to be inflated. People here really in a celebratory mood, and most of them have come directly from voting at the embassy to here at the picnic to celebrate.
All right, Kate Fisher, thank you. Keep an eye on that. And of course, those polling stations at those various U.S. consulates, embassies will be open for a long time. 4 o'clock South African time, usually the opening in the U.S., and they're going to have extended hours. Thank you, Kate Fisher.